Good morning. I would like to talk about pencils. A pencil, but before I start into to talk about the pencil, a pencils, I would like to say first is this a kind of funny story, or maybe I can say this is a joke that happened with the one of the most advanced uh, aviation technology, space technology in the world. But I am not sure if it's true. But the story is very interesting because it's funny, yes, or it's ridiculous. I'm not sure what to say, but I think we can learn something from that. Sometimes we think that life is difficult, life is complicated. I am agree sometimes, when you are in the tough circumstances, the difficult situation, you cannot find solution, and you cannot find help. Nobody help you, and you need to be on your own alone. And when you look around, you didn't see things. You don't know how to solve the problem or how to move on. So I understand that it's difficult sometimes. You think that everything is complicated and you don't even understand what happening. So sometimes many people look at the world, look at the problem, so complicated. They think about the problem that happened, or they think about their life, personal life, relationship, being parent, being a wife and husband, or even being the bosses at work, or business owner, whatever. The way the way people think about their role is complicated, But in fact, I believe that in some certain case, in many cases, life is not complicated at all. Of course, sometimes in many situations we need to accept that sometimes the situation that happen in our life is complicated and it's difficult to solve that problem, and particularly if you have to face that problem alone. But in many time as well, the problem is, it's not so complicated at all, but you are the one who make it difficult, you are the one who make it complicated for you, for yourself, and particularly for the people around you. So I will speak about the pencil. I heard about that story from one of my best friend, and he always look at me something like, I am a complicated man. I i always look at the world in a complicated way. I always think about the situation, about people, about work in a complicated way. But sometimes that's is because I think I am genius, because I think that I am able to, considerations, examines all of the problems thoroughly, and I believe that I better understand the problem first, and before I will be able to solve the problem. This is one of my best friend that he always look me in that way, in this way. But he told me that you should not look at the problem too difficult. The problem life is not so complicated. It's like that. He told me that take it easy. Take it easy. Life is not complicated. Life is simple. So he told me the story about NASA. I'm not sure if it is true, or it is the false story. But I think it's very useful to tell you, and I am still thinking about this story sometime. NASA spent, I think, billions or many hundreds millions of dollar, to do research and developments about how are they going to write how are they going to jot down to write something down on the paper for the astronaut that who working in the space station? Because if you brought a pen there, it doesn't work, because the ink, it will not stick to the pinball, so you can't write. So your pen, it will become like the pen is empty without the ink at all. So NASA need to do research and development what is able to replace the pen, and so they spend hundreds of millions of dollars. And then one day suddenly, one people say, why don't you use a pen? Why don't you use a pen? No, why don't you use a pencil? So think about this. This guy talked to the scientists among all of them who working on this project, and he said that why don't you use a pencil? Think about it. Most of the scientists, they look at each other, and is what I'm thinking about is, I think they are confused. Most of the scientists, they are confused. They shocked, and they are very surprised, wonder, or they feel embarrassment. They feel like they are a fool, whatever. I am not sure, but I am able to, if you close your eye and you imagine the situation that somebody write up among the top scientists of the world, and say something that very simple, and that thing is able to solve the problem that all the top scientists is working on. You will see their face. So this is sometimes we think too much. We think beyond ourselves, beyond the environment that around ourselves. We think further. We think too far. In fact, the solutions for any problem is maybe around us. Maybe coming from you. Maybe coming from from your colleague. Maybe coming from from your experience, and maybe coming from people around you, or even coming from your environment. So I think we should not overcome the things that close to us. Otherwise, we will not be able to solve the problem. So careful. Sometimes careful when you are in a difficult problem. Okay, and you think that it extremely difficult, but maybe you are able to think again. Maybe it's not like it not so complicated like that. Maybe it's far more easy than you think. Thank you very much for watching.